Hey everyone, I'm John Lynn, the founder and chief editor of Healthcare IT Today. We're excited to bring in another in our series of interviews with top leaders in health IT. And our guest today is Jim Jacobs. He's CEO at MediQuant. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, excited to have you back. We've talked with you before. You always have great insights and perspectives. But for those that don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself and MediQuant.
Thank you. Been in healthcare IT for quite a while. MediQuant's been around since 1999, and we've been pioneering the space of active archiving.
Wow. It's amazing how long you've had to do that, right? And that's a lot of experience in the space. Tell me, what is MediQuant's philosophy and approach on implementing AI? It's all the talk here at the conference, but what's your approach to it?
I think you could rename the show the AI show, almost. There's so much of it out here. MediQuant has earned a spot in healthcare IT as a trusted advisor. So we have to think about AI through that lens. There's a lot of discussion about AI, a lot of different approaches to AI. And so what we've done is taken a strategic view of AI and we view it in pillars.
Okay.
So we have pillars around how do we deliver better products, faster projects, a better result for our customer. That's one way. We look at our own productivity improvements internally. We're looking at use cases for our customers because our customers need help with productivity. They need help with getting to the punchline faster. We have patient financial services people who already have way too much work to get done. How do we help them get to the right work, the right time? And then we're looking at data use cases, actual places where we can drive insights from the data we have from the various systems. And that's to help through decision support, decision making, and actually help the hospitals with their own data do more, because we view that data as an asset.
Sure. And
the more insights we can bring from that data, the better off we are.
Interesting. Tell me more about the factors helping to shape MediQuant's use of AI and even other things like machine learning technologies or other technologies to solve what you exactly said, which is making them more efficient or making you more efficient to serve them better.
Sure. One of the fun parts you just mentioned is AI is quite this nebulous word. Is it machine learning, large language models? We right now are lumping it together with a lot of different things because we believe there's a multi-pronged approach.
Okay.
It depends on the use cases we're talking about. For us, it's making sure that we're partnered with institutions that view data as an asset. Do they value the data? Because we want it in discrete format. Our Simon Sinek why is to liberate data for secondary use. That's what we've always done as a business. So bringing the data from disparate sources, pulling it into a data lake, making it accessible through data arc. Then we can figure out where are the best places to apply technology, but you've got to make sure the data is clean. You got to make sure the data is right. We've got to make sure it's all pulled together. Getting the data ready for the use of AI is a big job. The promise of AI is reliant on good data that's accessible in discrete format. You can make great presentations about AI, but you have to feed it somehow in the first place.
Yeah. I think it's interesting to watch the evolution of your space because I would almost describe it in many ways as a nice to have before. Sure, there were software licenses, there were security issues, there's other things like that were driving it. But what you just described is changing it from this, oh yeah, we have to deal with this old software and this data somehow, to now saying, no, can we be proactive with our data and unleash the power of it? Is that kind of how you're seeing the mindset change from your customers?
We are, especially if they view the data as an asset. If they understand that data has value, and especially if you marry the data from disparate systems, especially now you combine it with whatever the new EHR is going forward, or marry older patient accounting data with brand new. You could trend data, you can build scorecards. It's an amazing amount of transactions that you can start putting together, but you have to start with the data. If you only look at what the live system is, it might be a year old, 6 months old. You may be missing a huge part of the picture, is some of the large language models or some of the original machine learning models needed vast amounts of data. If you just fed them a few quarters worth of data, it really wasn't enough for them to learn.
Interesting. And what are you hearing from your customers about this proliferation of AI in the market right now? What are they telling you about it?
Help. They see AI everywhere. It has so many definitions. That's why as a trusted advisor, we actually have a recommendation to an approach to looking at AI.
Okay.
Because you need to be careful. You've got to be cautious. I even say be skeptical, right? There's a lot of promise. Where is the AI engine located? Where is your data going to go? Is it in just any cloud? How do you know? Is there a bad actor potentially that could get access to the cloud? None of us needs a data breach. So there's a huge checklist to make sure is there. The other thing we advise our customers to look at is start with the use case. Is there a return on investment? Are you going to get any result in any time soon? Or is this some futuristic promise? That's why most of the use cases we've started with are very measurable, defined results, start to walk, then run, a very classic approach to that. But you also have to think about adoption because their end users, they have to make use of the tools. They have to think about adoption. So starting with some big flash pie in the sky, be careful. The other thing that we see is our customers are getting pulled into too many AI meetings. And so how do they filter? How do they really begin to discern where do they spend their time? And again, it starts with what are the use cases? What are the end users that are going to be affected by the opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, your first point is really interesting because we're in a best of breed AI situation right now because there's not an all-in-one AI platform as we discover what AI can do. But what that means is all the data is going to these best of breed systems and spreading the risk. It's fascinating how that's going to evolve. Are there some things that companies are getting wrong about AI that you see and you're like, that seems like that's going to cause trouble later?
We've seen a few examples where AI was used liberally.
Okay.
So the engines underneath weren't true AI.
Okay.
So be careful there. It may still be good technology, but do the proper diligence to see what's there. I think there's also some very large promises of productivity gains that may not be there.
Okay.
Or vendors talk about their ROI being based on staff reductions or other types of things. And I think most hospital systems, best benefit come from staff augmentation to help the existing staff, not to cut staff.
Gotcha.
They need to be able to get to more with the staff they have. Cutting staff is not a great way to, meet the needs of the hospital systems. They're already short-staffed in so many ways. So the final piece that we see is just, it's technology for technology's sake, and it's cool stuff.
Yeah.
But you can't get to an ROI. You don't get to what the value is. And the hospitals, at some point, they have to make decisions based on a financial result of some kind. They are measured ultimately by financials, and they've got to have something that really points to, how do we really measure the benefit to the organization?
I mean, that comment kind of begs the question, is AI really a distraction for these healthcare organizations, or is it a solution to the problems they have? How do you kind of view that?
Depending on which AI, it's both. It can be both because the hospitals, they see so many opportunities for AI, and the promise of AI is phenomenal. But what's real? What's in the ground? What's measurable? There are already work lists, there are already rules engines, there are already types of technologies that solve certain problems. Patient admissions, queuing up patients, looking at demographics, propensity to pay, those aren't new use cases. So if you're going to look at AI, is it enough of an incremental add to justify an addition or change in technology? How do you know what you're going to get? So again, not AI for AI's sake, just what is the actual benefit to the institution? We see an uptick in our hospital executives asking harder questions, more financially based ROI type questions, and then also making sure that end user constituents are involved in the decision making, not just buying AI and plopping it down, making sure if you're going to deploy this in the patient financial services department, have that group at the table, have them as part of the decision making. It may be a technology buy, but it's for an end user purpose.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Well, I mean, obviously AI is important. We're seeing that in healthcare organizations. We're seeing it in your organization as you leverage it to improve your tools. But what else is MediQuant focused on in 2025 aside from AI?
Helping our hospital systems get to more work faster is sort of a theme. So we've launched a product around application rationalization.
Okay.
The idea being, how do you prioritize and roadmap what your opportunities are?
I heard someone say that application rationalization isn't about getting rid of apps as much as it is focusing the organization on where you want to go, which I thought that was like a cool way to phrase.
It's a much better way to frame it, because maybe you stop paying maintenance on an older system.
Sure.
So you don't have the latest security patches. That might be a high priority.
Yeah.
And you're not paying maintenance, so there's not an ROI necessarily, but there's a risk mitigation. So are you complying with information blocking? Do you need this data in a patient portal? There's a lot more to application rationalization than just saying what's the most expensive software we have, or just because we went live on our new EHR, what was the old one, and let's get rid of that one. That's a simple, obvious one. It's a much more sophisticated rubric to it. And then internally making sure, especially with complicated systems where hospitals are buying or divesting, how do we help them get their own ROIs faster? Because they need to get that cost savings. They need to turn off older systems. They need the data out for the physicians. So doing things better, faster, prioritizing. We're even helping staff, hospitals are bringing partners to bear so they actually can, in total, have to maybe bring in a third party, but they get a faster result, which for them is a better realization of the return. So all things about getting the return for the customer faster.
That's awesome. Jim, I appreciate all the work you're doing to help improve healthcare organizations. It's such an important space with great ROI. It makes sense, the legacy archiving and dealing with your data and across these disparate systems. But I love that you're transitioning from just archiving it to now empowering that data to solve some of these problems that AI is going to help us with. So appreciate you sitting down and talk with us. And thanks everyone for watching and listening. If you want to find more great healthcare IT content like this, be sure to check it out at healthcareittoday.com or search for Healthcare IT Today on your favorite podcasting application. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.